If you knew a truth with all your heart, but the entire world looked at you as if you were a dreamer or a liar, what would you do? Most people give up. Some, however, choose to be crushed and erased under the weight of that truth. Today, we will tell the story of a man who mathematically proved the existence of atoms, the very atoms that make up everything we touch and every breath we take, but paid for that proof with his own life, Ludwig Boltzmann. He saw that the universe is condemned to disorder, and this dark discovery ultimately led him to surrender his own mind to that very disorder. Today, on The Cost of Genius, we look at the tragic end of a genius who proved the existence of atoms but was defeated by humanity's blindness. At the end of the 19th century, the scientific world rested in an arrogant calm. Physicists believed they had solved everything about the universe. But there was one major problem. The atom, the smallest unit of matter, was, at the time, nothing more than a philosophical assumption. No one had ever seen it, and the giants of the scientific community refused to believe in something invisible. This is where Ludwig Boltzmann entered the stage. He argued that matter was made up of billions of tiny particles, atoms, moving randomly. For Boltzmann, atoms were not a hypothesis. They were the fundamental building blocks of heat, energy, and life itself. So what exactly did Boltzmann discover? He formulated one of the most unsettling laws of physics, entropy. Entropy roughly means disorder. Boltzmann mathematically proved that the universe always moves from order toward disorder, toward chaos. His discovery was so profound that it explained why heat spreads from a hot teapot into a cold room, and why time flows only forward. With his famous equation, he placed probability at the very center of physics. Boltzmann was telling us this: the universe is ultimately doomed to a heat death, a state where everything is mixed together, energy is exhausted, and absolute stillness reigns. This discovery was monumental, but in Boltzmann's time, it was treated almost like a crime. Scientific authorities such as Ernst Mach and Wilhelm Ostwald openly mocked him. They told him, "You are not a physicist, you are a dreamer." They rejected his papers and humiliated him at conferences. This is where Boltzmann's tragedy truly began. He had waged such a deep mathematical war to prove the existence of atoms that he found himself utterly alone in that abstract world. The outside world had shut its doors to him. And for a genius, the heaviest price is to see the truth clearly and find no one to share it with. The cost Boltzmann paid was a devastating mental collapse. He was not merely engaged in a scientific debate, he was defending the very essence of existence. As the attacks from his rivals intensified, Boltzmann began to doubt his own worth. He fell into the grip of depression and bipolar disorder. One day, he would be overflowing with energy, writing monumental equations. The next, he would be too lost in darkness to leave his room. Like the law of entropy he himself had proven, his own mind was slowly being driven toward disorder and chaos. Truth had not brought him victory. It had brought him profound loneliness. In September 1906, while on vacation in Italy with his family, Boltzmann decided he could no longer bear the weight. While his wife and daughter were swimming in the sea, he hanged himself with ropes in the room of the boarding house where they were staying. The exclusion and misunderstanding imposed on him by the scientific world had silenced a mind that had uncovered the secrets of the universe. The most painful part of the story came just a few years later. Albert Einstein and Jean Perrin definitively proved everything Boltzmann had said years before: the existence of atoms beyond any doubt. Boltzmann was right. The universe worked exactly as he had described. but he did not live long enough to witness that victory. Today, engraved on Boltzmann's tombstone, is the famous entropy formula, the very equation he fought for his entire life and ultimately died for. Ludwig Boltzmann teaches us this. Genius is sometimes the curse of being far ahead of one's time. To see the truth before everyone else often means drowning alone within that truth. Boltzmann discovered the universe's final heat, death, but tragically, he reached his own cold and dark end much sooner. In this episode of The Cost of Genius, you witnessed a man who proved the invisible, yet was erased from the visible world. If stories of such unsettling geniuses interest you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Until we meet again in the next episode with another soul who burned their own world with the light of their mind, goodbye.